All right, so in today's video, we're checking out the FiFine K688 USB and XLR microphone. This is the one you're seeing right here, and all of the audio you're going to be hearing from this video is going to be coming from this microphone. So you can evaluate what it sounds like to you. Obviously, audio from a microphone is generally going to be very subjective. Some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it. So you can listen to the audio for yourself and make your own judgments as to how it sounds. I'm recording in my normal, studio environment, as I guess you would call it. It's not treated 100% for sound. There is a little bit of foam behind me to cancel out some of the echoes, but you may still hear some echoes in the room, and you can judge if the microphone is rejecting some of those echoes. So the package, what it comes with out of the box, is the microphone itself, as you can see here. Mine did not come with a boom arm or stand. That's going to be supplied by yourself. It does come with a 3/8 and 5/8 adapter. It does come with a USB-A to USB-C cable. I think they mainly want to connect this to a PC as their prime example in the manual. And I think in my case, I'm going to mainly use it with my smartphone. And in this case, you're seeing the recording on my Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra via the USB-C cable, and I'm using a on-the-go cable adapter so that it will actually function with my smartphone. That's probably what you're going to need to do for your smartphone. So it should work as a USB microphone for most devices out there. It does have an XLR output as well if you want to connect up to a mixer or some sort of other sound studio equipment. I don't have anything like that, so unfortunately you're not going to be hearing any example audio from the XLR output. Do note that any of the digital interface stuff like the gain adjustment or the mute button only works on the USB output and not the XLR output, so something to be aware of. There is a mute button here on top, and it's green when it should be transmitting audio. You tap it, it's like I think it's one of those touch sensitive buttons. It's not a press button. You touch that, it will turn red and it will mute the audio. I'll go ahead and press that now. And I pressed it again, it's green, and now you should be hearing audio again. As you can see, I'm wearing some headphones here with a 3.5mm audio cable. There is a 3.5mm audio out on the microphone here that I can hear and monitor my audio and hear what it sounds like as I'm recording the video here. So it's pretty standard, and it, to me, from my perspective on these headphones, it sounds pretty good. I'm speaking in a normal tone of voice here, about maybe 2-3 inches away from the front of the microphone. And basically you do need to be pretty close to the front of the microphone and not too far off axis, because it is kind of the pattern is more, I think it's polar, it's more towards the front. So if I go off axis like this to the side here, it's going to sound a little bit different. It's kind of tinny and not quite as distinct. The bass and the tone sounds a little bit deeper as I'm talking directly into the microphone element from the front. And if I back away from the microphone here, maybe like a foot away, you can tell that the audio just it decreases in gain, of course, but then it just doesn't sound quite as clear. It's a little bit muffled. So you can adjust the gain in the back of the microphone here. There's a knob for the USB output gain and also for the headphone volume. So there's two gains, or the volume setting for the headphone output, and there's a gain setting for the USB recording to your whatever you're recording via the USB connection. So I have adjusted it down. It's not all the way up. It's like maybe 3/4 of the way up to max. And I found that about this distance here, from my perspective, it sounds pretty clear. It doesn't sound like I have a lot of distortion in my voice. So that's something that, again, it's subjective. This may not sound the best to you. You may want to adjust it to your liking in terms of the gain and the sort of the tone of the audio. Now, of course, the audio is basically straight from the microphone. I haven't adjusted it in any way. If I've made any adjustments in terms of the gain, either up or down, I will note that in the basically as a little annotation in the video, so you'll see that. But we'll try and not make any alterations to the audio at all, so you'll just be able to hear exactly what comes out of the microphone. Of course, with a lot of microphones out there, you can make subtle adjustments in post-processing. And obviously, there's a lot of AI audio tools out there as well to enhance and fix audio, make it clear, manipulate it to make it sound the way you want. So even if this is not exactly what you're looking for, you can always tweak it a little bit to pretty much get what you want these days. Now, the windscreen on here is kind of on the thin side, so some of the popping sounds may still be coming through, especially on P's and S's. Maybe, if I had one of those like pop filters in the front here, obviously you can get that as a third-party add-on, but this didn't come with one, so I'm just making the video based on what it came with. So obviously, if you want to reduce that without adding additional pop filter, you can get a thicker windscreen, especially in the front here. It's a little bit on the thin side. So if you get a thicker one, that may help with those situations. Now, the construction, the build of the microphone, the shock mount here is metal. The body is plastic, and the microphone element in here is metal. So let me go ahead and just pull this off. All right, so here is my audio without the wind muff on here. So it's probably going to sound a little bit different. You guys let me know in the comments as to what sounds different about it. But yeah, this part here is metal and this part here is plastic. So I'm going to tap on the microphone just so you can hear what the audio sounds like when you bump the microphone or tap on it by accident. So I'm going to tap it here, and yeah, I can hear that. But you can definitely tell it's plastic here. And this microphone is actually surprisingly light. Not sure if that's good or bad. I know that some of the higher end Rode and Shure microphones out there are pretty hefty in terms of weight, and they're almost all metal. So this does sound a little bit hollow when you kind of tap on it, and it is kind of light. So light might be good if you're looking for something a little bit less weight in terms of carrying around if you're traveling. This part here is metal. You can definitely hear that. That is definitely metal here. And then the shock mount itself is also metal. So if I tap I have this on a little tripod. If I tap this, and I guess you'll be able to hear how effective the shock mount is. There's 4 like rubber bands that are holding the mic in the shock mount. So I'm going to tap on the tripod. And you can probably hear that. I can hear that tapping on there. So if you're wondering if the shock mount will get rid of all those sounds, if you hit the microphone, you're going to still hear it. I'm going to go ahead and put the wind muff back on. Now, if I'm not tapping, if I'm just shaking the microphone, let's see how much audio, how much sound you can hear from the shaking. You can see I'm shaking the tripod, and I can hear a little bit of that shaking coming through the microphone. Is pretty sensitive in terms of capturing like little taps and movements and stuff like that. So generally, you probably don't want to be hitting the microphone. It's definitely going to come through on the audio. All right, for some of you that are wondering what the specs on the microphone are, I'm going to go ahead and take a little snapshot, put it here on the screen from the manual. Pretty standard, nothing really like unnotable in terms of the specs. It's like kind of run in the mill in terms of like what you get on a lot of other USB type microphones out there on the market. So in terms of myself personally, I haven't tested any of those high-end like microphones from Shure or Rode, like for these podcast typing microphones. Certainly they probably should sound better than this, though to what extent I'm not 100% sure myself, because I've never tested those personally. Of course, those are significantly more expensive. I believe they're going to be running the $300 to $500 range typically. And this one is going to be running, I think the retail is $80, but there's always discount codes on Amazon and such. I think I've seen this as low as $50 to $60, although currently I'm not sure what the exact price is right now. So you can get this at a pretty decent cost if you're looking to get this at a lower cost for your audio recording requirements. And I think it's going to be more, if you're okay with this audio in terms of the quality, If you're needing several microphones, say for example, if you're going to be starting a podcast with, say you need to buy 4 or 6 microphones, you have several people in the podcast, and you need a microphone for each individual, of course, then spending $500 on a microphone may not be as tenable versus getting something like this, and it could be just as good, especially if you're starting out. So if this is something that is interesting to you in terms of the quality, I'll put a link down in the video description. Do let me know what you guys think in the comments below in terms of what you think of the audio quality. That'll do it for this video, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.